Now will you fucking stop?
First of all, don't tell me what to do.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
That's right, infidels. It's the takeover. Kick off the new year. Patreon.com. As we take over Greenland, Venezuela, Norway. You don't want to get in our way. We'll make you change the headlines. It goes variety of pro wrestling that you love to talk about. You're hired? No. You're fired. Here on Hami Media Group. Shout out Elon Musk. Buy us out, infidel.
To your jaw, bowing down to a law. Just praying not a victim. Equipped with a stable just in case he's got a sick him. No title when he strips him. He'll vacate the champ. Sabotage him backstage. Bash his face on the ramp.
Yalla, what's good, guys? Good to be back here in the studio with who you know, Art of the B to the V, Hacker Hameen. Gonna set up this off hours focused dialed vape, brand new drop at Ravens Joint. So excited to have some new products, man, as the harvest has come in, and there's all going to be all kinds of new stuff out on the shelves there. So if you're in upstate New York, you want to come check out the shop, or just bored online and want to see what I got going on at my other gig, ravensjoint.com. Hopefully have some t-shirts and stuff up soon. RBV and I are working on the HMG Home Shopping Network project this month as well. And, there's no reason to go anyplace else when you can keep it in the family here at Hameen Media Group, man. So what's good, buddy? Good to see you, man. Happy New Year again.
Well, we got actually quite a bit of hot headlines here. You get that hot new product out there. Hey, that's product placement. That is influencing 101 advertising at its finest here on the HMG. But we got MLK Day. And where's Triple H? He's overseas in one of the whitest countries ever. They're over in Ireland putting their show on. They're not here paying tribute to that. We got hot takes, hot conversations from the NFL. But the bots, man, the bots are everywhere. Big numbers, Ben, and the bots are manipulating. Now, hey, everybody do us a favor. About every 2.5 minutes here, just hit the refresh. You're not going to
open a new tab. Open 17 tabs.
Open 17 tabs right now. We need you more than ever. We need the 2.5 minute army to show up for us to get these numbers up here, so we can be bought out before we head to Patreon.
Yeah, man, it's an interesting week in wrestling, not just for, the inside the mob stories, but business-wise, heater-wise, and, it'll be a crazy breakdown. But I got to shout out Jeff Lane, man, Russo brand, sent me an email, and he said, hey, Hameen, did you see, I know we talked briefly about this, that Variety changed their headline after you tweeted them, and then we talked about it on Master Shoot, and he contacted me after that. So he just put out on Russo brand YouTube, give it a watch all the way through, because you have to see a conversation in the last 15 seconds.
There's a lot of numbers and metrics that are happening there, but hey, let's talk about here. So basically,
Jeff did some graphic work at the end that was really good. So we did extra production to kind of shine my conversation and kept his eyes on it, on how it changed in the, well, we'll get to that in the Matrix 1984 kind of way.
I guess we can just jump right into that. The big numbers. Raw is actually streaming live right now on Netflix. They are over in Ireland. So that show is underway here. But, last week, a lot of fans were like, oh my God, look at these numbers. It's been a regular point of debate and conversation for podcasts, for talking heads, for legends, whoever the case might be over the course of the last year, the first year on Netflix. Where are those numbers? Where are that viewership? Is the platform happy with the product that they were pitched by and are delivering to their audience? Now, you look at this vanity piece that was out there, no pun intended. I mean, it looks absolutely incredible. What was the number? 340 million? Well, at first it said it was an average, right? For each week. And now
340 million views. And then,
and then they switched it to watch hours, which is a very, very slight tweak, but changes the entire dynamic of the conversation.
And I don't want to just be like trying to, dunk on somebody, because it could have been he saw my tweet and looked at it and goes, oh, that's just a mistype, you know what I mean, of what it is.
Poor wording choice there.
Yeah, and so I'm not here to be like, I got him. Like, that's what people want to, stunt on people.
Right.
Dude. Like,
No,
I'm just asking a business question.
You asked
right?
a question because when you go deeper into that, Ben, as you laid out there, when we start looking at the actual numbers of what we've been presented certain times, and even it contradicts itself in the article, that these numbers, even in Steiner math, they don't add up.
No. And then using Chat GPT on Master Shoot Theater and going deeper analysis of how these metrics are being allegedly, validated.
You
yeah.
guys
Like,
what did they say? What counts as a view?
A 2-minute watch on and off. So, and then possible how long you watch divided by the show's length. So
Actual runtime.
Yeah. So if you got a bot farm shutting things on off every 2 minutes, one show could equal, in a 3-hour show, 90 views. And we break that down in Master Shoot and this clip that Jeff put out. So I'm not trying to jump in the dude's sauce from Variety. However, like I said, it could just be a simple misprint. Saw that, went back. Oh, I can see how that needs to be reworded. Everyone can make mistakes in blogging and, the no heat, right? However, that's one option. The other option is everybody in wrestling sees everything. They clock my shit. They clock whatever, Russo brand stuff. So if we're out here talking it, and then they're like, oh, they're onto us, and somebody makes a call and then calls that dude, and changes it. Like, there's always the conspiracy theorist side to me, because I've been in this fraternity for a long time, right? And they want to play these silent heat games, and that's why I point these things out. Yeah, is it to stunt on them? Yes, because I don't miss things. I actually pay attention. I don't let people just propagandize to me and then try and look down on me when I know they're phony, So it could be as simple as, or the other thing could be, we are in a Mandela effect. And in 1984, that's what Winston Smith does. He goes and burns the headlines that were from the month before that contradict the story, so history is rewritten. However, Jeff Lane caught it in real time. And what's interesting, this is the aha of which makes me, okay, is it a little deeper than just a misprint? Because there is no asterisk or edited on X date. The headline is changed and it has the original published date on there. If that's a WordPress blog, I'm not sure how that works, because usually it'll have an updated link on there, but it isn't. It looks now like the story was originally posted that way, and it wasn't. And Jeff caught it in that time. So it could be any of those things, but my paranoid wrestling brain has to lean toward some stooge saw something that I posted, fucking got scared.
Well, now that's kind of got me thinking here.
Changed it.
So it was Variety Magazine. I know I said Vanity. So it was Variety Magazine with a Vanity
the industry leader, right? Who Ari's very connected to. Like, that's what people were.
That brings my question to you here. So obviously these numbers, to me, like, I don't even want to go at the writer on this. I got a feeling that some information was put on someone's desk and said, put this together for a piece. Probably didn't do, so all
it came from Netflix. That information came
okay,
from Netflix.
I was going to ask you, did this really come from Netflix, or do you think maybe this came from TKO?
Is there a difference? You know what I mean? Like,
it could be a slight. To make it really
be
be really, really good, I'm TKO, because I want this to look really, really good. Not, Netflix, because you don't want to say that, hey, we bought a piece of crap, a lemon here. But if I'm TKO, I really want those numbers looking good.
Well, when here's the
with all these other distributors.
Of course, nobody's going to go, we bought a piece of crap, a lemon, even though I heard it from Jacob Allman with, we're looking for positive solutions. And I heard it from, USA Network Press as well, when he had the at least the good sense to, like, push back on these super carnies. And now when I see them buying the lemon and not wanting to admit and just say we're not pleased, what happens is, I've seen it. They spin the numbers. And when I see the spin of the numbers, as opposed to the hard line, they're up 20% since we started. Like, that's easy. Like, there's cut and dry, and what's what. When it's 5 different numbers that are just like, ooh, 525 million and 340 million, and that number is bigger, like, just to do the monkey training of here's the treat. Mm-hmm. Like, I know that you're lying. You're exposing yourself in the work, as opposed to what any real businessman looks at is time over 12-month period and 4 quarters, and to see the chart of growth and where it went and what deals did we spin out and profit from in that time. And can we still make a profit even if there's a decline in watchers on Netflix? And is the house up even with prices? Like, these things all figure in. But when I see a spin job story like that, most people just brush it off. To me, it goes, here's somebody telling the same story about buyer's remorse, but they're trying to spin it, because the spin tells me how you really feel.
Well, here's where you walk the fine line. There's the one thing of, putting on the pearls, the bright lights and all that for your audience to work the marks that are just, oh, look at this awesome number here for WWE.
This is great, by the way. This off hours dialed vape is great.
The Grape Gatsby, baby. Hitting it.
Right.
But doesn't there lie maybe some more issues there putting these sorts of numbers out here with math? Even over in the chat, everyone's saying, a lot of this doesn't add up here. Doesn't that cause some problems with like advertisers, sponsors, other streaming deals?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, why not just address the problem at its root level of going, why did we go from 5.5 million? Let's forget about the article with phony numbers and it's a misprint. We'll just chalk it up to human error.
I'm Cricket, and I wanted to talk about my deal with them,
right.
About sponsorship. Yeah. That's where
we started at 5.5 million, and now they're bragging that they averaged 3 million. Well, dude, that is a loss of pretty much 40% of your audience in 1 year's time. Now, you might be making more money because you upped house fees and they'll put that out there, but where are the viewers that were supposed to come over and stay? Now, of that 3 million, how many of those 3 million already had Netflix to begin with? Let's say 2/3. So you only converted us 1 million of new, right? Now, how are we supposed to get more new viewers, or how are we supposed to get eyes on your product? We didn't do the Stranger Things the right way. Stranger Things cycle fans would have tuned in if they knew the characters were interacting and it was extra content and all that kind of stuff. And they could have get to know a character like Finn Balor and the Demon because they already like that genre, but we're not feeding them that, or the Wyatts. That's the true synergy. So yeah, we have these things in our flywheel, but we don't understand how to capitalize on bringing. If I was a Stranger Things fan and I didn't know anything about wrestling, I'm like, oh, they got the van and the spooky stuff on the wall, but that's it. That's all we do. There's no crossover.
Yeah, you're there to see what's going to hook you from.
Yeah, this is Scooby-Doo where the Harlem Globetrotters show up.
Yeah,
right?
Have the Harlem Globetrotters and have no basketball references. Or anything like that.
No, you say the Harlem Globetrotters there and they don't show up. It's just like a basketball hoop, ball on the ground. That's what it'd be like. So, like they just aren't executing anything in that. And that's what leads me to believe that somebody saw that tweet and went to tell that and stooge that to get them to change that, because they're that paranoid. They don't want to look at it. Why not look at your month over month? Sorry. Why not look at your month over month and then go back at WWE and go, we need to change to get this up. And if we're going to do more synergy things in the crossover of our biggest brands, Squid Games, whatever it is. How are we going to really do this on your show and use it as a platform to go forward and get that crossover audience instead of just referencing it? Like there was no payoff. And in fact, it does the opposite. It does more damage than it does good because you're disappointing your audience. You're disappointing two audiences.
Who set that up? Because I obviously here I was on the watch along last week. Really enjoyed it there. Always, it makes it so much better to watch the program when you're with others. But sit there with Brandon, especially get the keen eye of the vet. But I think I'm like the 1%er. Hey, that's not a bot, Mr. Andrew +1 with the real word right there. But I didn't have any idea, still don't, about Stranger Things. I know it's a popular show. I know it exists. I have no idea what the premise is. It could have been an opportunity to get somebody like me to check it out, but they didn't do anything to even let me know what the hell it is.
And it, even though people will watch it and binge it because that's the way of, how humans are now in their programming, and the hardcore Netflix, Stranger Things people, they're already done with it. So this is because it came out during the holidays. This is 5 days after, it all came out. So it wasn't a lead in. So now you're looking to get as much on the tail end as possible. We got little to nothing, man, from our characters. This would have been a great platform to really relaunch Finn Balor, I think, and get something over with the Wyatt family. And we didn't do
two acts that desperately need that. So when they set this up, who do you think approached you? Was it Netflix saying, "Hey, we need you to do this"? Was it WWE saying, "We need something for us"? I mean, because
I think it's that team
misconnection in there. Do you trust that the creative minds at WWE knew what the hell Stranger Things was, or even how to incorporate that? So they're not working with anybody else.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors, so I don't want to speculate because it feels like it was an afterthought, not something that was designed into
the Stranger Things. People think like, we're not going to a wrestling show. What the hell?
They're already done, right? Their job's done. It all came out. Now to hit the tour again? You don't tour when your movie is been out for
once it's already hit home release, you're done going the PR tour.
So, but there's so many things they could have taken from that. On Stranger Things, there's these Christmas lights and they put like an alphabet and it spells things out from the underworld. We could have had like a very Tony Storm type world where it goes to black and white. That's what the upside down is. So like, if you could be walking down the hallway, hit the dry ice machine and go to something dark, and Finn goes from Finn to the demon. And when he steps in, very Wizard of Oz, the black and white into the color world, but in a opposite kind of way, right?
Well, same with Finn Balor. I mean, he could have entered like his clubhouse could have been something different or something.
Yeah, you could have done with Alexa Bliss, anything like that. I want to say, Andrew Plus, thank you very much for those kind words, man. I just it's not like I'm out here to try and I hate to say these stupid fucking kid terms, dunk on anybody or and one. Like, dude, I just wanted things to be the best they can in a art form I've given my life to and I'm passionate about. And if we never address the true reality of these false metrics, or that someone overpays and the provider under delivers, well, we'll never have a true conversation of how do we accomplish our goal of really being successful and not doing it behind false metrics. How do we deliver a high level product that is so good that people can't miss it and have to tune in, not out of generational repetition habit, but because the creative is there, the tie-ins are there, the crossover is done properly, the stars are built properly, the payoffs, the flow of the show, the formats, all of these things are so left unkempt, but no one ever calls that out in the boardroom. They all just congratulate themselves with fake 525 million, 340 million numbers, and everyone walks out feeling like they did their thing on the Zoom call. And it's whoever the team is with Netflix and whoever probably Bruce is on that team. Maybe Paul, I don't know who they have as the scapegoat,
because I've kind of got, because I was looking at some stuff a couple weeks ago and I wrote down, when we think of the creative minds at WWE and how long they've been involved in professional wrestling. So Triple H, 33 years in. HBK, 41 years in. Undertaker, 36 years. Road Dogg, 40. Pritchard, 53 years in. These are, and then you add in like a Hayes that's longer than that. You know, these are the creative minds that we're looking at here that we talk about at the top that's doing the creative cooking inside of WWE. How they're not in touch with any of this shit.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That, you know, last time they knew Winona Ryder was maybe Beetlejuice, right? If that, dude. Like,
you say Winona Ryder, Pritchard and Hayes probably think that's like a ring rat from Wyoming or something.
Yeah,
like
points. Fucking, but yeah, that is it. Like, they almost have to reference their kid and as out of touch as Vince was. That's what this is. Even when they do the card openings, it's Sam Roberts and Triple H. It's so weird. It's just like you couldn't make it any more not cool, bro. You know what I mean?
Like, if you tried to, you couldn't be less cool.
Oh my God. And he has, you know, nephews and shit like that, man. So I don't know if he relies on his daughters or whatever it is to tell him, but
well, that's another thing. Me and Jimmy were talking about this on Smack Attack this week. Again, as we look at this stale creative process, as you talked about, then, like the lack of character storytelling, the same production schedule, same formatting. We don't see any change there. Who are these Hollywood writers that they're supposedly getting on these creative teams? I mean, because we hear the creative teams are larger in number than ever before. Who are these people? Where are they getting them from? Because it doesn't seem like they have any real professional training.
I bet Kill Tony is hooking people up, to be honest with you. So
it's kind of like that chick that they had a couple of years ago that got fired immediately because Bobby Ashley. And she didn't have anything idea about the product or anything.
Bobby Ashley, good. Oh, Bobby Ashley. Yeah, dude. Like, this is what they want, though. This is the dark side of the fraternity of wrestling and the mafia. They want to bring in an outsider where everyone goes, "Oh yeah, they're here," and really, it's like, okay, we'll see how you fuck up and put your foot in your mouth and fucking bury yourself and and yeah, I'll put you over. It's and then like 2 days later, you said the wrong thing to the wrong person and you got crazy heat and you don't even know why. Hey, dude, you gotta lay low. What do you mean? What do you mean I gotta lay low? Yeah, this guy's hot at you. Why? What did I do? Like, that's just how this shit goes to fuck with people's heads, man. And outsiders, I don't care if you want to. What was it? She won a daytime Emmy or something, and they told her bring your statue, and she's walking around with it backstage. That's just to mess with people. The dude who they heralded as the big horror writer, movie writer, or whatever he was, they chopped that guy's wings multiple times. Like, so we're paying for these top properties that have the chops allegedly, and we don't get anything out of them. I'm sure they had Patrice O'Neal. I bet they didn't get any punch ups out of them. And Patrice O'Neal is one of the greatest stand-ups in the history of the fucking game.
You had Freddie Prinze Jr. on your creative team.
Yeah. I bet actually he did try and make things more cinematic. I really do kind of, even though, and I'll say this, he's the one who took my job, like, because they hired him 2 weeks after I interviewed. But like, you know, I do kind of appreciate, even though it's not nepotism, I don't look at him as that. Like, he really looks at the product like I do and trying to make it into the movie that we claim it to be. And it's not the movie it could be. And I think he sees it in that actor, improviser, yes, and mindset in a similar way that I do. And shout out again to Jasmine St. Clair last week, a great Monday locker room. People still talking about it. So, and the whole JCW crew over there. So,
well, you know, Ben, it is kind of funny. We open up with this great conversation about the reality of the creative, what's going on behind the scenes, where their lack of communication, their understanding. Because tomorrow, guess what drops? The next season of Unreal.
Yeah, well, I hate exposing this business on shows like this while I expose business on shows like this, so
That's the two plugs that I saw was Heyman like, I hate this show, but then we get what it's like to travel together with Seth and Becky, how that means. But I'm only interested in this season because I tuned out after the last season, after the first 2 episodes. It just wasn't for me. I am interested to see how they spin it and try to convince us that it was their plan the entire time and how brilliant the John Cena retirement tour was.
Who's going to convince us of that?
Them. They're going to try their best to. And I want to see how they try to do that.
I think on Unreal. I got you.
On Unreal, yeah.
I don't. I think they're going to pivot and go, this season's about that, so they don't have to.
So you think they're just going to stay the hell away from it?
Because there's no way to make sense of it unless they really told the Unreal version of how it all fell apart. But obviously, they're not going to do that. We haven't seen or heard from The Rock. None of that shit lines up whatsoever. It'll just be more of people talking out of character as the draw, and Triple H touching foreheads to people back in gorilla position. You did a good match, Io Sky. I'm so proud of you, Seth. Like, yeah.
That's interesting. I haven't considered that. They're just going to tuck their tail between their legs and just stay the hell away from it, aren't they? Because, I mean, there really is.
They're going to tell the story of the boy who cried wolf with Seth. Like, gotcha. And that's the thing. It doesn't matter how they put themselves over, how it worked, and the pop was huge. They don't understand when I say playing out the game, playing out the story. We did Boy Who Cries Wolf. He comes back. How does Boy Who Cry Wolf end?
The boy gets eaten, right?
Yeah, by wolves, because he fucking burned his audience. He burned his audience one too many times in the town, and the wolves fucking eat him. So once that's done, why would you want to burn yourself in your audience a bit, dude, to hurt your credibility? That's the story they're going to tell without Seth truly getting eaten by the wolves. So they'll pat themselves on the back for lying to their audience, and they only understand part of the fable. They don't understand the moral of the story.
Yeah. Well, he did an awesome backflip. That's all that matters when Wolf was coming for him. That's the base of the story there. Yeah. So Unreal comes out tomorrow. Triple H catching some flack. Interesting time of year for this again. MLK Day here in the States, but we had some rumors floating around that this last round of a WWE tryout camp, they were highly focusing on Black individuals, bodybuilders, and also the headline didn't say it, but as I looked into it, they had a lot of social media influencers there. But Triple H catching a lot of this, maybe that he's trying to do some damage control with the recent year that, his booking of minorities, but especially Blacks.
We are in control now.
Pop, sorry, just going back through my own Twitter trying to find it.
I saw you posted the nation.
The Triple H in blackface. I was like, here's the Black bodybuilder that showed up that everybody's super excited about. Because it's got to be about that, right? On Martin Luther King Day coming up, I'm so progressive and whatnot. Meanwhile, what are you going to be? Another Jack Black dude that does what? Like, you do gorilla presses while the rest of the guys do fucking flips over the top rope. Like, what are you supposed to be better than Obafemi? We didn't get Omos over. Here comes Hobbs, who's got, probably close to his 10,000. Yeah, and we never got Bobby Lashley, or by some people will call him Bobby Ashley, over, and that guy's 10 out of 10. So if we're just chasing that, and again, I saw a story, Ford and Dawkins not hurt, just on the shelf waiting to be refueled.
Freshen them up.
Freshen them up. Freshen them up is getting them over on fucking TV, not wasting time with these NXT guys who are just getting called up so you don't look like, we put these dudes in NXT over.
If I got a convertible, I freshen it up, I stick it in the garage and put a cover on it.
Yeah, absolutely. The best way to freshen. If anything, if we got all these dudes that are of the same style, you know what I mean? Young African American, D1 level athlete, fucking unbelievable balance, athleticism, all cut good promos. Now we got 4 black guys, every one of them 6'1" to 6'3", fucking 10% body fat. Okay. You're not going to be into any of them as much because they are separate. So we need to unify them. We need to put them all together. And the best way to do that is some type of sensei or master, someone from the past, a Booker T,
I like
a
Booker.
Ron Simmons.
Something like an MVP that's, you know, that's taken
This
that
is
role.
what I wanted MVP to be, to take these guys and make them into
what the Hurt
D1
Business should
athlete.
have been.
Yes, it's not just about being black and angry.
And
even though
think
that
that's,
was,
you know, a lot of
yeah.
people get really confused when you say, hey, let's put like a black faction together. What do they immediately do? Oh, the nation, right? It's got to be the nation. It's
No.
not that.
You know what I looked at is the Chicago Bulls. You had Dennis Rodman with green hair wearing a dress, which would make Vince happy. You had Michael Jordan, all-star, supreme, cool as ice. No one could beat him, right?
Dressed
Scottie
to the
Pippen,
nines.
your backup man who can do it all, whatever, you know.
A little bit of the hillbilly came from down south
Right.
and rooted in that family. You know, he missigned a big deal because he thought he had to take care of his family. You know, they all had them different personalities.
Give me a Shaq, give me a Charles Barkley. I'm talking about our generation from that time, right? Like all these guys had their own personalities, from Charles Oakley to Patrick Ewing to like, and I'm sure the ballers now that they do, I'm just not familiar with them, but those guys all were different. So it doesn't have to be just like they're a black guy thing, make them all the Black Panthers. All those guys I just mentioned from the NBA stood out with their own personalities, but they're all in the crew together, you know? So I think that's the way to get them over, because individually they're all going to flounder and not one of them's going to get over.
Well, like when you brought them together as the dream team, they shined because they all had different personalities.
Perfect. The dream team. I even love that name. You know, like that it needs to be an equivalent of that. And if they've got all these wonderful writers and we're focusing on black athletes at tryouts, how about we focus on the ones on our main roster and not the ones who
the ones that are in
are doing a tackle drop down drill and getting the footwork right. Let's worry about how do we get Omos back over, bro. That guy's a draw. Like, but you pimped him out, and same way you did Great Khali and everything else, you know. But Omos is, I think, more of an athlete than Khali was, but still, when you're a little kid, this is just hits me personally, and why, you know, I'm a Giants fan. Love talking to Tim Alberino. The Giant Nephilim and Giants are one of my favorite conspiracy theories, because when I was fucking 8 years old and my old man had to take me to WWF, and Andre the Giant stood right next to us, you know, in seventh row, like, changed my life forever. Any little kid that Omos walks by is going to have that same experience, man. And that's what you pay your ticket for. He don't have to get in and do anything. One big boot choke slam, just put him on a run and have him be security over guys like this. You know what I mean? The regulator. But how am I supposed to get into Obafemi when you got guys way ahead of him and you're not doing anything with it, you know? And you don't want to see a guy like Dawkins get kicked to the side because he's put his goddamn time in.
There's something there, you know. Everybody's heavy on Ford there, but Dawkins he's hung there, you know, easily.
But it's not a black guy thing either, because they do the same shit with the Vikings. Brought him back, re-debut him. They do a fireside chat thing, and then they're off TV for 3 weeks. You're just like, what the fuck, man?
Probably every time they brought that back, put him in the ring, was not good there for the Vikings. But yeah, that's the WWE mindset. You know, when they messed up Gunther, what's up with his orbital? No, their mindset is to refreshen you, is to just eliminate you. You know, how can we miss you if you're not gone? And they think that's the key to it. Instead of being creative and giving us something to rally behind them on. Remember, like a year ago, the Profits actually made the SmackDown tag division interesting because, that's when they were looking to take the division back over. They got rid of the Solo Cups and the one glove. They meant business. And then what happened when they won the belts back? They went right back to the dancing and happy-go-lucky guys.
Yeah.
They lost their intensity, lost their edge.
Vince didn't know what the Solo Cups are about, neither does Triple H to even go back with it when they were doing Pop the Molly, I'm sweating and mixing scissor up like it's fucking 2012. You know what I mean? Like, even when they brought that out as their thing and we'll get this, will get them over this. I mean, that's basic Carrot Top prop comedy, but they don't understand that, like, oh, what, you want kids at home? Like, that's the message you're sending because the kids understand what the red Solo Cup actually means. Like that they're mixing fucking Robitussin and Sprite and codeine and fucking whaling it down. Some nights watching SmackDown, I wish I had a fucking big cup of syrup.
That could be a new spot. See, like Solo Cup to me just represents beer pong or something like that.
But that's not what it is in black culture when it came to all those fucking rappers that were doing that shit, bro.
I told the story.
It was all about Molly Percocet and all that shit.
Yeah, I told the story on Smack Attack that, here when I was working with the Professional Wrestling Alliance, Russell Bland, Black Manager, came to me about putting together a group of, local black talents, and he wants to call it My Brother's Keeper. He laid it out to me, and I told him that. I said, brother, I know this is a hit. I don't know how to present this or book this for you because I'm a middle-aged white guy. I'm going to need to trust you to do this for me. And I did. And where everyone else thought, oh, you're just doing the nation. I said, no, we're not doing that at all. Let this play out. They became the most over baby faces in a prominent white audience in territory that we were running because they got out there and they connected and they told a real story that talked to everybody.
Well, what it is, they're men of respect. You're not a dancing, shucking, and jiving clown. And you're just talking to me on a man level and doing what you got to do and stepping up and, delivering or owning it if you fall short, and your brothers pick you up. Like, that's human. That's human story. We can't ever get there.
We did have Russ because he was carrying a bat at the time. He was walking right down the middle of the little town I grew up in, Harrison, Ohio, which is 99.9% hillbilly, Trump country, all whites. But so this old lady called the cops that there was a black eye because we were just filming a vignette. It freaked her out so much, man. It was great.
Dude, you ain't got to tell me, bro. Go shopping with me in Louisville at Kroger, bro. Like, ask Mondo. King of Sicily definitely hoping sometime Ben, since he does character analysis, can break down what the fuck the treatment of Stevie was all about in Vince's mind. I gotta believe you're probably talking about
dress.
Yeah, you're goddamn.
That's where he got the heat, right? When he
the dress and the underwear, dude. I think Vince was sexually abused by his stepmom or mom at a very young age, and that cross-dressing and that was a part of it. I believe he also had, multiple gay encounters before ever getting into the business. And especially if his dad was in the business, now your kid is around it. And we're talking the 60s and 70s, right?
And you don't know what's happening in those military schools.
And it's Carney's Queers and Addicts since Shakespeare time, my guy, where there were no even girls in Shakespeare plays. If you didn't know this, they would just cross-dress men as women to play the women's parts. So this shit's been going on for a long time, and to each their own. If you're into same gender, whatever the fuck, I'm no judgment. But when you have to look like an alpha male and you closet that side of yourself, it will manifest in strange ways. And any gay character Vince has ever put out there is not one of integrity. It's very much like his black Bojangles characters. They're always, from Adrian Adonis. And there's a history of this with Gorgeous George. And, even the pro wrestling is the gayest thing you can probably partake in entertainment-wise and sports-wise, because it was a way that the Greeks were able to naked wrestle with young boys. It's been this way for thousands of years. And what are we doing? We're trying to show dominance by pinning another man's shoulders to the mat for 3 seconds to show dominance over somebody. There's all very strange, undertones to it. that being said, Vince is a young boy. Who knows what happened there? And now everybody from a Billy and Chuck, which was probably the closest to gay characters having integrity because it kind of reflected gay marriage in society at the time. But a
Do
Rico,
you think also with society at those times, not necessarily, not trying to defend Vince here in how he saw it in his subconscious from his experiences, but society itself through all those decades was always very uncomfortable. You know, it was something that made you
Sure.
feel uneasy.
yeah, but who sang? Who did he have sing? Was it WrestleMania 1?
Oh, Liberace.
Like the dude, I grew up in the theater. So I've been around every subcategory of gay you could possibly imagine. And when my gaydar is pretty in tune, and when you're throwing Liberace out there right out of the gate, bro, you know what I mean? We definitely are going,
Would
okay.
You mentioned kind of Billy and Chuck there a little bit with, you know, the gay marriage. Outside of WWE in modern wrestling, do you think anyone's really gotten it right about how to represent that LGBTQ? I know like Gorgeous George, you know, did that flamboyant that irked people, but didn't really cross. But that was kind of not modern day. I guess maybe Anthony Bowens today.
I think I really would have liked to consult with those guys because Bowens did a decent job, but I think he left millions of dollars on the table and the opportunity for AEW to really draw more LGBTQ fans and awareness, because that community is going to support a mainstream character, especially a guy who is a minority, who's good looking, who's doing it respectfully, who's not making light of it, you know what I mean? And
Great personality, can
yeah,
talk on the mic, looks the part.
100%, right? And dude, there's no better money to support you than gay community money, because usually it's single or married couples with no kids, with expendable income, college level educations, you know, and they're gonna, you say buy my merch, they're gonna buy your goddamn merch. Like
that community supports. They'll
yeah, dude,
support
100%.
in a way.
Yeah, and you could have been during the woke and Me Too era, you know, in the LGBTQ pride era that just kind of we breezed through, been a good ambassador and somebody to been on every morning talk show and really parlayed that into a bigger career outside of wrestling. I think there was a lot of like opportunity that was not, we watched that bus go away. Not that he can't do it now, but there was a window where it was like, this would have fit perfectly. Right. So definitely him. I think Sonya Deville, it's not like they've
reemerged with Total Nonstop Action Wrestling.
Yeah. So there's opportunity there. And I think someone should call out the fact that, I don't say call them out of the closet, but like call out the fact that like we're not clowns that have to prance around and have a lisp, you know, like sure there might be something there, and you know, like obviously Giselle Shaw has taken a lot of heat. Like there was an opportunity to really, and you know, this is why I went in with it with Kayla, because she's the Rainbow Warrior too, you know what I mean? And she's a beautiful girl next door, but she was on WWE doing Kiss Cam with the fucking Mexico guys there, Garza and da-da-da. But on the indies, she's herself and out of the closet, right? Mm-hmm. But if Vince tells you to be straight, you're straight. And then when you're straight, he go tell you to be gay. But that's why I led into the whole Kiss Me Kayla thing, because she wants to have the integrity of really who she is on the indies, and I respect that. But if Vince McMahon tells you to let two Mexicans kiss you on the cheek, how gay are you that day? You know, so that was just the inside rib. I don't judge her. I mean, obviously we're there to play a part. It's a TV show. So, but that was all of my storylines are kind of founded in truth to blur that line. You know what I mean? So I'd be like, oh, if Vince told you to kiss me, you would kiss me. Right? Like any of that shit. Yeah.
So as we're kind of talking in that direction, and you know, about how to reach those communities.
Sorry, but just to close on the other thing, But all that shit is Vince's personal sexual dysfunction and latent closeted homosexuality combined with abuse of his, I think, stepmom, and the cross-dressing keeps repeating itself, and the flamboyantness keeps repeating itself. It's definitely in his darker side, where instead of accepting it and being out of the closet about it, now we have Brett saying that Sean was sucking his dick. Like, these things aren't by happenstance, my guy. The Scott Hall story, Animals said it. Like, it's fine. This business is built on carnies, queers, and addicts. And some people are more of one of the three or two or just one of them. You know what I mean? But Vince McMahon,
let's even admit it. He had that third computer that was all sex driven, and
I wouldn't doubt at least one or two of those NDAs isn't a woman.
Yeah. It's kind of on this, though, the chat's talking about, so I do want to bring it up. And we've had wrestling's kind of dipped its toe into that lifestyle. But is it really ready for it? Do you think, how would you have done this different? You'd mentioned Shaw, but Nyla kind of got, on that bigger stage, that grander audience, and with the trans community in wrestling.
Sure. Nyla did. And, obviously, forgive me, former name's Tyler Rex,
yes, I do. I can't think of her name. Gabby.
Yeah.
Let's go with Gabby. We got Shaw, Gabby, and Nyla kind of got the biggest stage with the AEW.
Sure.
But did they ever acknowledge that in AEW? They just kind of just said, no, she's just part of our women's division.
Yeah, but I think everybody knew that.
I mean, everybody knew, but so why not lean into something like that? I mean, because she even had a fairly successful sitcom.
What does lean into it mean when you're talking about trans? Like, you're outing them and kind of making fun of them, going,
"Do you have to make fun of
it's
them?
A woman who's really not a woman." Like, as soon as you point it out, you're breaking the illusion. So,
can you use that as a platform to educate why people make decisions, why they should be considered?
Yeah, absolutely, you can. So it's not on Nyla to educate, right?
Right.
It's what we need is someone to be bold enough to book a heel to be transphobic, homophobic, what have you.
To learn the pun intended here, the hard lesson.
Yes, and at the end, much like, and I like this with Mortal Kombat 3, I believe, reference, instead of kill them, get over here, fatality, you have a friendshipality. You come to an understanding. And usually that's after someone of ignorance grows to respect who they thought was their enemy, but the whole time it was their own fear doing that. Then that same person that they were picking on and had their moment will come under a situation of duress or a greater evil force that's about to hurt them. Then that person comes to their aid who used to be their enemy, because they both have to work together to overcome. And when they do, at the end, it doesn't matter. I was black, you were white, you were gay, I was straight. We got to go kill these aliens. And now, like that, like, so the formula is there on how to do, let me get over, you know what I mean, of what it is. Or don't let the character not be racist and homophobic, and show them at the end giving respect to the other one, where you call them the ethnic slur, but they love each other, and you call them the homophobic slur back. And that, you know what I mean, as far as that goes, because, hey, we survived the fucking War of the Worlds and we made it through.
You started into a storyline, right, with a trans performer on the Indies, where the big and masculine guy, big hobby, guy I was attracted to, didn't realize that it was a cross-dresser, right?
No, I was honeypotted, right? Like, I saw him in an ongoing storyline, and she's out of Rochester, which is a very progressive part of New York State, and a lot of those guys aren't afraid to mix in their politics into their storyline, and they are absolutely. She's trained very well, and my ongoing story through the Indies brought me there, and it was like a honeypot thing. And then So the rib is, okay, she's trans, but I'm not, I don't know, and it's not like she exposes herself to me to the end because I just get kidnapped. So the rib is that people know she's trans. I get honeypotted. I'm still with it. But then I would probably just have gone, you know what, whatever, let's go. It's like my line would have been, it's lonely in the desert. Let's go. It looks good enough to me. Beauty's only a light switch away. But Chet, I get yoked by the neck and put into a room and beat down instead. So I'm happy to work with anybody in this carny circus. And another trans performer is Cordelia Josephine from UWE and Indies up here, who I saw at a tryout at Immortal taking a seminar and had really good punches that day. And I could tell studying martial arts. And UWE was starting, and I treat her the same way I treat any performer because this shit we got to be safe with. I don't give a shit if anyone's going to judge why you are the way you are and what brought you to that point. You know what I mean? If our common bond is a love for professional wrestling and craving spotlight, I'm going to look at you and say, where can we make some money? Where can we really develop a character? You know what I mean? And especially if somebody like Giselle Shaw is over and I have that contact already and they're doing kind of woke wrestling, or somebody wants to do something with other trans performers on a show, you know what I mean? Having a crew of them, I'm going to try and make that your bit, you know what I mean? And I think Cordelia's really used that. She's done some like cosplay, anime and video game type photo shoots that are for specific LGBTQ. I wouldn't say specific for them, but for like gamer type forum type things like that, and is enjoying all those different types of I don't even know what to really call it. I would say millennial entertainers, like what they're into, from Pokemon to whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So Sunny Kiss, another one,
yeah. Sunny Kiss doing well with it. So I guess AEW, did give that opportunity, that platform early in their existence there as a company, not so much acknowledging it. I mean, is there any, because I do know that we do have some trans wrestlers that listen to our show. I talk to them regularly. You work with a few. There's quite a few great.
Yeah, dude, I just respect people for what the fuck it is.
I mean, would you give them any words of encouragement? Kind of right now, knowing that there is a ceiling for them, like it's kind of hard. Maybe you just see through that ceiling. Still shoot for a WrestleMania main event, even if it doesn't seem like a reality right now.
I don't, I don't understand what you're saying about there's a ceiling, when it comes to WWE. I would say forget about WWE. I think you haven't even dipped your toe in, and this is to any LGBTQ performer. It doesn't have to be trans or anything like that. Pride is a thing, like that is your brand, right? So why aren't you promoting only LGBTQ shows in LGBTQ hotspots where you can draw with celebrity performers, with whatever drag queen night? I don't care if it's Miami, if it's Chicago on Halstead, if it's Greenwich Village, New York City, if it's San Francisco. Every major city has a gay club area, neighborhood, and usually they have the best restaurants. It's the safest. You won't hear any gunshots. You may hear a bitch slap or two on the fucking street at 2 a.m, but like they are out there to spend that money, and nobody in the gay community, I don't think, really wants to go see a show that's mainly that just features one gay segment of their show that appeals to them. I feel like that's
something that do it. Like the Power Pride Pro Wrestling here, I think they drew like close to 1,000 here a month ago in Cincy, and they kind of bring that community. So the focus is pro wrestling, but they also have like the drag show, and they got some other things going on. Sure. So it is like a festive bring together a festival of everything that is the community.
And why, of course, it's going to be it's a festive community for pride parades and all that. So have your drag queen show set up, same as Sideburns goes on tour to ref with the midgets, bro. Mm-hmm. So it's a specialized show, but book it for that audience. Then as you build it for 2 years, and can you get a deal on Bravo or some other channel that's doing Project Runway and Queer Eye for the Straight? Can you get Queer Eye for the Straight guys to show up? Like, can RuPaul, forgive me, I don't know these shows, I'm just I will
tell you this one, that damn RuPaul, she makes it very difficult when I'm looking for stock photos for drag racing. You go to Google and you can't find anything with race cars in there.
That goddamn RuPaul got me again. RuPaul could have been world champ under Vince's fucking regime, bro. Fucking A. But yeah,
he would have thought she was Jade Cargill.
I just see a lot of, as a businessman, untapped money, and where is the promoter that's gonna create a product that appeals to Queer Eye for the Straight guy, that appeals, like, tell this. I mean, this is just, I know they make costumes and shit, right? Like Lady Gaga costumes and shit, like that's part of their offshoot reality shows, like their Top Chef or whatever the fuck, your Top Tailor. Where is that part of the pageantry of wrestling? That's a huge part of it. Like, if you get the TV show, you could do spin outs of this, the costuming, the makeup, and set a standard that WWE will then maybe mimic. And it doesn't, everyone has to be looking like they're going to Carnival and be a big dancer that way. But what is a reserved Republican gay character look like versus, Puerto Rican Pride Parade, Terry with cutoff shorts on and fucking roller skates? Like, there's like I said, there's a lot of different subsections in that flag to represent and get money out of as a worker. And I don't think they're fully being fed the entertainment that could be there. So before it's anybody being judged about getting to WWE, dude, make your own thing. You got your fucking audience ready to go. You just got to feed them the right shit.
You know how much money there could be, especially social media, working the indies, traveling around just as a log cabin Republican Trump supporter.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God.
You start out as the fucking super nerd reserved, but by the end, the dance off happens and he's got his shirt off and he's swinging it around and everybody's having a party, bro. Like, you show these quick transformations and the character that is the catalyst will get it all over. It's the same as all I'm looking at is, how did Rikishi and Too Cool get over, and how do we get somebody drawn into their world that's the nerd, that's the uptight shirt one, and get them to Party Zone? Because that's what people really want, bro.
Absolutely. Great conversation here. Chat. Great comments over there. Great participation. A lot of new faces over in the chat. Love to see that over the last couple of weeks, especially shows I've been on. Love to see that. Means we're spreading the good word out there. Ben, another headline. Let's talk a little All Elite Wrestling. Little TNA actually too as well. They made their big debut last Thursday on AMC. I'm going to be doing a guest spot this evening on the Impact Attack to talk about that with Brandon and the Vet. But one of a few names of note that were absent from that TNA big debut on AMC was the Rascals, as news broke that they had been signed away to All Elite Wrestling just before the debut, which they had to pivot and change some plans there. We got another twist in this one. Here comes the swerve. Trey Miguel, 1/4 of the Rascals.
Yeah.
And before the ink had dried on his AEW contract, he's already gone from the company. The other three are remaining. Trey Miguel, the word is that he is he's stepping away for some mental health time to regroup and all that. But there's a lot of speculation, rumors out there. We've heard that maybe this call came from someone even higher than Tony Khan. I mean,
that's very
is that
strange.
God? Is that the calling from God? I mean, how much higher do you get there?
Yeah.
There's also Trey, little TMZ style rumors here that, Trey was an ex of MJF's new bride, haven't been married that long. Is there maybe some heat there, some tension there that MJF didn't want him there? What do you make of this? You signed the deal, but then 48 hours later, I'm out of here, man. I'm going to leave my boys. I'm going off the road. I'm checking out.
Yeah, it's very interesting, you know, and I'm sure everyone's whispering in the rumor mill in the Over Kids Club right now. Met those guys just at 2CW, let them know that really loved their character work and impact when Ray and I were reviewing it. And I just saw them do a backstage pre-tape with their smoking out hot box in the fucking room. So I like that they're right back on their character game. But this is an interesting development for sure. Maybe Buddy does have something going on and everybody's just speculating and he needs to step away. Or, you know, when you say a power higher than Tony Khan, which would be the network, right, of doing that. So I don't think he has anything super cancelable in his past or anything like that. But when it comes to MJ,
saying they found a girlfriend that he smacked. Is there a domestic background or domestic issue from the past that I'm unaware of?
That I don't know. That could be it. And the other part of that, if it is MJF's lady and she's like, I don't want him here, and MJF didn't know that those guys were getting signed. I could see with MJF's newfound fame, not newfound, hard-earned fame. The kid's been acting since he was 6 years old. You know, that he may have the contacts in Hollywood that could help grease the wheels to make sure AEW is on Paramount Plus and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And Tony signing that, dude, like the Rascals. I'm not, you know, this is all me just hypothetical. Of wrestling politics, by the way. So, like, you know, upset wife, unhappy life. And if MJF holds the cards over Tony of possibly getting this deal done through his Hollywood connections, that I could see as like, you're hired, you're fired. Like, sorry, buddy, it's bigger than you. Like, I can't think of any other source that would be bigger than that. Now, if you say something domestic and they have,
I don't know. Something that the chat said. So again, it's speculation. I mean, that I would just
all this is speculation, bro. It could just be Buddy's burnout and wants to give his best, and maybe, you know, his dog died and he needs fucking.
I mean, it could be that. Hey, I mean, you know, that they wanted them all, so sign the deal, get everybody in there nice and secure, get the other three in, and then bail out.
But it doesn't say he's fired in what you just read. Everyone's like, he's gone. Like, it just says
he's gone. It just said he's stepping away.
Right.
So
that's
that they're on good terms.
Different. That's way different than being fired. Like, you know, he's just taking time off. He's still under contract now.
No, I think it's all terminate. Like, he's no longer with them.
So
but they are parting on good terms.
Then they're saying that, but like, if you terminate a contract like that, something ain't right. You know what I mean? Like, something is rotten in Denmark with that, then, you know. And I'm not putting heat on anybody or judging anybody, but there's another piece to this that is yet to be revealed.
Well, speaking of terminated here on the home stretch, I know you're not particularly a fan. Well, we got fires and hires, so you might be happy with one of these. But how is the feeling up there in your neck of the woods, especially your brother over there at Ravens Joint? Big letdown this weekend for the Buffalo Bills. Big loss there. Hey, we know Superman could fly high, but he couldn't fly a mile high. Bills cannot get it done on the road. Broncos bounce them from the playoffs. But this morning, I was not surprised by this. The Bills head coach is out. Done. Canned.
Yeah. I feel like this is another worked football game. Like, from the play where
Booker of the year, Roger Goodell.
Yeah. Yeah. And then at the end, refs are throwing flags like crazy on pass interference that they had in all game. Like, when I feel a work and smell a work, and then boom, those guys are out of there. So I don't know, man.
If you're booking this, you don't have all your baby faces there. Mahomes is at home. The Ravens are out.
And Nix breaks his foot, so now he's screwed. So now it's just like,
you want Josh Allen in this. He is your baby face to make the run, and now he's out.
Unless somebody was worried about Super Bowl bets and wanted to make their money on this game instead of the other one, to have them lose and bet against them because people wanted them on the hot track. I'm kind of, I've said this last year and I'm kind of at it now. I think I'm done with betting. Not to say I don't like Javid posting and all that, but like, I just feel like I'm getting worked, and as a worker, I can't allow that of myself. You know what I mean? So it's not that like, oh, they took my money, fucking. Like, I'm just like, I can't be a mark. I'm a worker, bro. I just can't do it. So some people will win, and you can still win playing, thinking that way, but like, it's just not as much for me anymore. I'm just upset for my biz partner and my cousins. They're big, huge fans, and I wanted them to win. Giants are 14-4. What do I care, So, but I think NFL sudden death overtime is an idiotic way to play the game.
They don't do those anymore. No, you get back and forth. You get chances now. They revamped the playoff rules for the overtime.
You get to go, and then you do.
Everybody gets a chance.
I think you play out the quarter.
I agree with you there. Yeah, it's everybody gets one shot, then it goes to the shootout.
Right. I think it's overtime is another quarter. And then if you really got to shorten it after that, make the second overtime 5 minutes less. And so everyone's in a hurry up rush offense or something like that. But like, I hate this shit of like, even they're like, no, you go. Like you said, you go. No, you put 15 minutes on the clock. We play it out. And if it comes down to the last and we go to another one, I don't care.
The quarters. Keep playing the quarter.
Like,
keep the game the way it is, especially in the playoff.
So I think that part of the NFL sucks too, and it makes games like this end in like what? Okay.
Two overtime games for the divisional round. How about just for big markets? That Chicago market in LA, the Bears and the Rams goes to overtime. 45 million viewers for those two big markets.
Yeah, allegedly. I don't trust any numbers.
That's a lot of football bots, buddy.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Well, but it is going to be, as you said, Nix breaks his foot. So now we've got a guy that's only got like 7 starts in the NFL, is one game away from the Super Bowl with the number 1 seed Broncos there. We don't really have the baby faces, the storytellers.
I really don't give a shit about the game at all now, to be honest with you. I think they ruined the whole end of the season. Nobody here's got any teeth. Nobody has got any hope of who wants to be behind them except the people from those little, like those smaller cities that want it to be in there. It's not, there's no juice. I mean, everyone will watch, but it's just like, no story.
Well, it's going through the motions. We don't have
it's an episode of SmackDown. It's nothing, So I think the big
I don't know. It's not that bad. Come on.
Nah.
It's not that bad. You and I both
the big story
to watch
you didn't
that
have
crap each week
is the rumor about Elon Musk possibly.
I did have it. I was just looking at our time here. That is interesting. Elon Musk looking at potentially buying WWE from TKO, as he is interested in the global property and attraction that it is for major events and spectacles.
Yeah, very interesting how that deal even got started to get discussed. I'd like to understand that.
I think that's one of those put out there on the conversation now, but there's a lot to unfold there. If true, if how deep into it, is it something he said in passing or something like that?
Or is it Triple H going and talking to Trump, and Trump's like, he's got money, just go fucking talk to him. Because like if the Saudis were going to pay $20 billion, that will up the price. And if Elon thinks, or is Elon in on it with him, where Elon goes, I'll give you 9.5 before they sell to the Saudis, so it raises the Saudi price. Is he nothing more than a juke to look like an interested buyer, so the Saudis come even heavier with the fucking buyout?
Got it right here. Elon Musk is reportedly heavily rumored to consider a move to buy WWE from TKO, with talk said to be very early in the stages. WWE is valued around $9.3 billion, and the idea is that Musk views it as a major global brand with huge live event and media value. Nothing confirmed yet. But imagine an X plus WWE as a collaboration.
I mean, if you want to sell your Starlink, you want to sell your Teslas, those are easy commercials for repetition for 3 hours to a dedicated audience. There is definite reason.
And a globally touring brand.
Absolutely. And Yeah, and you could probably have Grok write the show. Get me triple Grok. So, but yeah, dude, I think he will. I don't know, man. I want to say maybe just like 15% chance of me believes it could be possible, but he did buy Twitter. And even though it's a shit show on Twitter of craziness, if you think about how much of a FBI propaganda run platform it was, I'm not saying it's not now that they're not out there, but like that's why Channel Attitude had to be and why HMG had to go offline and just during DVOC 91 and all that, bro, of a time if you were a true content creator who wasn't a bootlicker just asking simple questions, you were done out here, you know? Mm-hmm. And Elon really freed that with buying Twitter for what, 40 billion? So what's 9 billion for wrestling? But
he might just be buying WWE just to officially kick Trump out of the Hall of Fame.
It could be, but I think Elon's in for a rude awakening if he buys wrestling and finds out what the shit's really like. I don't care if you're a billionaire robot maker who fucking makes crazy cars and spaceships, you still ain't ready for WWE politics and locker room, dog. So, but he'll just fire everybody and make an AI wrestling show, so it'll be aces anyway. So
that's all we need.
Yeah, man. But yeah, good conversation, you guys.
Hey, real quick, let me ask you this. We got a few minutes here. I know you got to go get that rub down on, rubbed off. The next New York massage scandal coming at you with honey here. Hey, what do you think is a big reason we're not getting a lot of hype or advertisement for the Rumble? Is it just because it's the bot show, or is it because maybe where it's at? I actually heard more advertisement on the ESPN football game this weekend for the Rumble than I actually did on WWE programming this past week.
Why? Because Rumble's in Saudi?
Yeah, but they're not doing anything about it. We've had there's no hype yet. We're just 2 weeks away. We've had one person declare that they're entering.
And it's on Netflix, right?
And it's on ESPN. So ESPN hyped it there in their games. Hey, make sure 2 weeks, Royal Rumble, ESPN app. That's it. But WWE's hardly doing anything on Raw or SmackDown for it.
That's confounding. That means the team at ESPN that has had a lot of turnovers doesn't have a team like Netflix because I don't know whether they don't have the staff or they just aren't working with somebody who's their handler to be like, why aren't we doing this? You know, so that is interesting to me of that it's on that app and people want to.
I'm just,
like
because I was thinking
went from Peacock to that now, like. Dude.
Hell, they're not even done building the stadium for the Rumble.
Yeah.
They're still working on that.
Surfshark.com/stuff. Yeah, dude. Well, when you say working on that, let's talk about that. Who's working on that?
Slave labor.
Like not ribbing using that literal slave labor.
This is even worse than Buffalo when they say bring a shovel to clean off your seat. This is build the stadium and then sit in there and watch the Rumble. That's how we're feeling.
Import workers take their passports and make them work, and they hold that until they say you're done.
And then the real punishment is you have to sit and watch the product.
We need seat fillers.
Yeah.
So dude, very crazy time of that 2 weeks and it's not done. We're not promoting it. Why? Because it's a bought show, and that also means we don't give a shit, ESPN, about you. That's a you problem getting new subscribers. We've given you the product, you got to promote it. So maybe ESPN doesn't have their ducks in a row when it comes to even just doing it on a halftime, whatever, like, real basketball fans and whatnot, the crossover is very minimal. They're not going during the middle of the Duke game, holy crap, we got to watch Royal Rumble. Like, you know what I mean? Like very few and far between. It's only hardcore wrestling marks that are going to notice that it's a wrestling commercial.
Somebody like, hey, we got our special WWE correspondent on the sideline, almost, that looks like a freaking pro athlete.
Yeah.
Or, run one of the smoking hot girls out there.
Yep.
Tiffany Stratton's here to help with the sideline report this week.
Yep.
And you pair them up with their favorite teams or something. You had like Nikki Bella banging the Eagle guy.
Dude,
Have
you're-
on the
you're-
sideline asking questions, you know.
You are talking about things that people outside of the bubble in marketing and business actually think about using what is on their side to help promote and next to zero cost, just a plane ticket really to get them there, right? Like, and be that spokesperson. They're inside the bubble going, we got the deal done. We're with ESPN. They've got NCAA basketball. They don't see the opportunity that every one of these should have somebody figured in. Every NCAA game that's on that day should have a WWE property person there with it. You know what I mean? Like it's that easy for 2 weeks to be putting over Royal Rumble, where you have the NBA person or the NCAA person going, and you've got a big match coming up, the Royal Rumble. We know we're March Madness right around the corner with all these, but you've got to face 30 other competitors. Like the pitch is easy, and everyone just acts like they're a star because they're earning a paycheck, but they're not doing any of the superstar stuff, and they wonder why their numbers are down.
It's so frustrating.
It
Because
just
it's
goes
right
back
there.
to what we talked
It's
about.
So simple. It's right
Why-
there to
yeah, and
incorporate
it's
your
on the
brand and your
fault-
product.
And it's the fault of Netflix. It's the fault of ESPN because they don't have people in charge that will step up and hold them accountable to go, this is what we want. This is how we do the marketing. This is how you're plugged in. Have them there and give me 2 people to be in constant contact with daily to make sure all these details are done and met. Instead, they just go, we live in Florida. We're NXT. We're over as fuck. Pin me, pay me. And they act like they're living the superstar life, but they're really not. They're not fulfilling any of their potential and they're not taking that opportunity, as Al Snow would say, and using that as your infomercial to market yourself to an audience, not on a wrestling show. You solo, you stand out as the wrestler in the sea of basketball. You are getting special time and nobody wants to capitalize on it. If I was LA Knight, I would jam it right up their ass for burying me. And I would be asking to go to each one of those things and getting over with the world. You know what I mean? And becoming indispensable that way.
There's so many, man. Just like
they just
Big E
don't
comes
do
to mind.
shit.
Big E should be doing pre-shows, you know,
dude.
for other brands. It just,
It really,
hey,
it really
less it
makes
is
me
out
want to
there.
slap the shit out of him. Like as a businessman, seeing that money left on the table, it makes me mad, bro. It really does.
It's infuriating. And thus it is out there. You think you're over? You're not freaking over.
You ain't over. Not even a fucking little.
But this show is over.
And
Hockey's
you
gotta
don't
go
know.
get
You
a-
don't know how to get over. That's the problem. You have it right here teed up for you, and you won't even take the fucking club out of the bag to take a swing at it. Lazy
Tune in to
cocksucker.
Unreal so they can tell you how freaking great they are.
Yeah, no crying wolf here, infidels. But y'all, it was a great show today. Thanks for everybody kicking and joining us live. And please subscribe, patreon.com/Hameen Media. Where is it? Fuck.
Group.
And yeah, we're getting shows uploaded there, getting the tiers redone. I think $5 get you everything, but YouTube as well for some of the other shows, Smack Attack and the boys doing their thing. But y'all, I'll be out of
Yeah,
here.
you're gonna have that top tier with just some exclusive stuff. Take all the pods on the go with you. You
Yeah.
get the locker room stuff, some other shows there that are going to be exclusive to that, but still a lot of amazing free content is going to be available through the YouTube and the Patreon. So we'll have those 2 little hubs for you, and of course, help us share all the clips and stuff that are out there as well. Ben and I are working on a little store. E-commerce here.
Little store
for-
called
yeah.
Amazon. Yeah.
Maybe you heard of it. Might have heard of it.
Thank you, Andrew +1 again for the kind words today, man. I try and rein in my New York fucking acid tongue. You know what I mean? Because I can cut sharp and quick, and I would rather be heard as someone who's offering a constructive opinion to try and remain stoic, but I have to battle with that shit every single day. The Focus off hours vape had me dialed in today, so I feel good, and always great with Art of the B to V talking business, even though I jump on him sometimes and don't let him get his great opinions out. I got to do better at that myself in 2026. Never miss a chance to shut the fuck up.
Your show. You want to hear me yell? That's why I got the Smack Attack. And don't forget, I'll be on tonight. Join us 8 to 9:15 for a little Raw watch along, little teaser. Then at 9:15, 9:30, I'll be joining the Vet, the best in the world there. And let's go, Brandon, to break down the Total Nonstop Action Wrestling debut on AMC.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you guys doing that. I know TNA took a lot of heat, Bischoff kind of burying the show, and that's too bad because, man, you only get one chance to make a first impression. And I know this company's on its whatever iteration in ownership, but that was their chance to really tee it up and smash it in front of the wrestling audience after all this number 2 promotion stuff. And I guess it didn't work out for them. I don't know.
They tried doing too much. Just tried doing too much.
So, yeah. Yeah, well, that's too bad, man. And I know what it's like to want to really hit a home run, and you barely do anything sometimes, and that's the love and the danger of pro wrestling. You're out there on that high wire. If you make a botch, you're gonna eat shit on it. And that's not just in the ring. That can be in production. That can be in 1,000 things, sound and queuing up VTRs, and sometimes Murphy's Law, what can't go wrong will. And you thought that was bad, and you're like, all right, let's just move on. And then that next segment might eat shit too. And it just is like, all right, it's one of those nights. But I always want to try and see everybody succeed no matter what, man. So you guys too, hopefully it's 2026, new you, and you're doing your thing. I'm feeling good on the Cesar Bononi program, and looking forward to taking a little vacation here next week. So I will be out of the office Thursday to Thursday. So you'll miss me on Russo brand shows, but I'll be on tomorrow with Vince and Stevie doing the thing. And I'm sure talking more about the Variety article change in Jeff's clip. Please go watch it on YouTube and leave a comment over there on Russo brand YouTube as well. But you guys think about it, and whether it was just a misprint, or are the Stooges watching, or is it 1984 Mandela effect? You decide. Here on the Monday Locker Room Infidels, Hameen Media Group. YOLO.
His wife, she's going to be raped by a motorcycle gang.